So greetings from Boone, North Carolina, where the black population is less than 1%. So my presence here tonight has probably disrupted the whole balance of power in the county. And when I was a kid, I didn't know a lot about sex. I still don't now. But I do remember my first sex education teacher. In the community that I grew up in, it was a dilapidated southern ghetto called Churchill in Richmond, Virginia. There was a guy in our neighborhood. He was about 60 years old. He owned this small store. It consisted of two rooms, two tiny rooms, tiny little bathroom, a door going in the front, a door going out of the back. There was this glass countertop. And underneath that countertop was all assortments of penny candy. On top of that glass countertop were these jars filled with stale cookies. And we called them candy because it was a candy store. And Candy would give out these stale cookies to all the special kids. And by special kids, I mean kids who were hungry, kids who were disabled, kids who were slow, kids whose parents gave less than a damn. When it was cold or it was raining outside, we could always go to Candy's to hang out. And he was a special, special man. I said that he was my first sex education teacher because it was Candy that taught all of us kids about the differences between what boys and girls have between their legs. It was Candy who told us boys, and he favored us boys over girls for some reason, that if you peed outside and you squeezed your little penis just right, you could pee further. And he demonstrated this to us often. Candy said that if we put our little penises inside this Coke bottle and twisted it around, it wouldn't come out. Sure enough, Moses put his penis inside the Coke bottle and twisted it around. He couldn't get it out. Candy had a damn of a time trying to get his penis out of that Coke bottle. And he was so upset by that that he got us all together and he locked the door of the store and he said, listen, you don't need to tell any grown-ups about this. See, they don't understand. They don't want you to learn anything. Let's just keep this between us. We don't want people to know about our stuff. Now, I don't know what Candy's talking about. Stuff? What is stuff? So I mentioned it to my mama, and I mentioned it to the school teacher that Candy was showing us this stuff. And just like Candy said, my mother and the school teacher flipped. And they said, don't go over there anymore, don't go there. They didn't tell me why, just stay away from them. What the hell do they know? Candy is a great guy, and how are they gonna stop us from going over anyway? They don't know how smart Candy is. One time the kids were teasing me because my pants were torn and dirty. And Candy told all those kids, you leave him alone. You stop teasing him. And he told me to come on over and sit in his lap. And he hugged me. And he said, you're special. You're a good boy. You're gonna be something someday. And I just hugged him because I loved Candy. And he picked me up and spun me around. And he slipped his fingers in the crack of my butt. And he said, do you like that? And I laughed and I said, it tickles. Because that's what kind of good guy he was. And Candy used to love to play hide and seek with us. And one day I remember I went to the store and it had the close sign on it, but as was our habit, we always would try the door anyway because Candy always told us to just come in. So I went inside, I looked around, I didn't see anybody. And I went inside the little bathroom, and when I pulled the door open, I saw Candy and one of the other little boys sitting on the toilet. with their pants down at the same time. And I thought, what a genius. Only Candy would figure out that two people could use the toilet at the same time. Because when I opened the door, I know they had to be playing hide and seek, because he immediately said to me, you got me, and he threw the boy on the floor. He was a genius like that. But one day, something strange happened. This guy, he came in the store, and he was mad as hell, a grown man. And he was holding one of the little boys by the hand, and he pulled him in the store, and he said, what the hell did you do to my boy? What the fuck did you do to him? And Candy said, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything. And the boy was saying, Candy didn't do anything. Daddy, well, why are you doing this? He didn't do anything. And the guy punched Candy in his face, and he picked him up and he body slammed him on the floor, and all of us kids started screaming and hollering, please don't hurt Candy, please don't hurt him. We were screaming, we were panicking. The boy was going, please don't hurt him, don't hurt him. And he stomped on Candy, and he took his face and he just rubbed it back and forth on the wooden floor, and he pulled his head up by his hair, and you could see like 1,000 splinters were stuck all in his nose, under his eyebrows, and it was gross, and blood was coming out of his face, and that just made all of us kids scream. And he stomped on him and stomped on him, and we all ran out. Candy was so injured by that the store never opened up again. But a couple of years later, mysteriously, the store burned to the ground. Now I'm in high school. So this happened in elementary school. So now I'm in high school. And through all those years from the 9th grade to the 12th grade, as me and my friends would be coming home from school or just walking around, and we would pass the old store that was burned up, without saying anything to each other, without giving any details or descriptions. Occasionally, kids would look at the store and they would say, damn, or Candy, or fuck, or shit, and run off. Some kids would cry, but we never had any conversations between us like, why? It was my senior year in high school, and the chorus was having some programs. They were looking for volunteers. It was near Christmas time, this time of year. We were going to go to some retirement homes, some old folks' homes, and sing some Christmas carols to some old folks. Of course, I really just wanted to get out of class, so hell, I volunteered. We went to this one place, and right away I noticed that it wasn't just high school students there singing Christmas carols, but there were kids from middle schools, there were kids from elementary school, really little kids. And as all of us were in our groups and we were starting to perform and sing our little songs while we were taking a break, I looked in the back and I saw this elderly gentleman, and the kids were just going crazy about him. This guy had all kind of charisma. The kids just loved him. He had them laughing, he had them jumping up and down. They were just giddy, they were sitting on his lap. And I kept looking at this guy and looking at this guy, and I said, he looks familiar. Then I recognized him. It's Candy. And he was just like he was when I was in elementary school. Just charming. He knew what kids wanted to hear. He had that thing. And they were just loving it. But looking at that, you ever seen one of those portraits made up of a whole bunch of teeny weeny little pictures, you know, and you pull back away from, and it's something else, it's one big portrait? When I looked at Candy from a distance, instead of seeing just an elderly man playing with children, what I saw was just a damn child molester.